The Eagles play their second preseason game on Saturday against the Cleveland Browns after 2 joint practices with the Browns. So we're not expecting many of the starters to play in this game, but let's go around the horn. Tell me 2 things or players that you are most looking forward to seeing in this game. We'll start with you, Fran.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the rookie safety, Andrew Makuba. The second-round pick out of Texas did not play last week against the Cincinnati Bengals after missing a chunk of time here in training camp with an injury. Now back in the lineup. Has been up and down. He had an interception in Thursday's practice, but also got beat for a touchdown. I'm excited to see what he looks like. I would anticipate he's going to get a lot of run in this game against the Cleveland Browns.
I want to see how he's used as well, because he spent some time inside, whether that be nickel or dime, more likely dime. But yeah, with the base defense, I mean, the book on Makuba is that he is a physical player despite the frame. Let's see how physical he can be.
Yeah, the big thing too is when you watch him at Texas, the instincts and zone coverage. Look, it's a whole different thing getting used to NFL game speed, and obviously you're learning a new scheme. How comfortable is he going to look mentally? I think that will be important to watch here on Saturday.
You have any thoughts on Makuba, EJ?
Yeah, I think it will be interesting to see how he does against maybe some of the bigger-bodied Browns receivers. I feel like
this has been on your radar.
Yeah, he has struggled at times with some of the bigger tight ends being able to just rise above him and catch passes, especially down the field in the end zone. So, in those matchup opportunities against tight ends or bigger wide receivers, I do want to see how he fares for sure.
Okay, who is the other one that you are looking forward to seeing?
I'm going to say in the secondary, I want to see Mac McWilliams.
Yeah.
He's made the move to outside corner this week. He'd been splitting time between nickel and outside corner before this week. I think if he has a good preseason game, he really enters the competition for that starting outside cornerback spot opposite Quinyon Mitchell. I'm intrigued by him. I feel like he has a chance here to really take at least enter that race in a real way, and he will definitely help himself with a good performance against the Browns.
The way that they are using him after having put him in the slot for a lot of the summer, I mean, it tells me that he is in the mix to some degree. I think Vic Fangio wants to see what he can do, and it has not been a good week for Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson and Jacorian Bennett so far. Now, those guys will all have a chance to change that story based on how they do on Saturday. But I think if Mac McWilliams looks the best of those 4, then yeah, all of a sudden, watch out.
Yeah, and week 1 is fast approaching. You know, we are deep into training camp at this point. The fact that no one has separated themselves in that race between Keely Ringo, Adoree Jackson, and now Jacorian Bennett, I do think that it really opens the door for someone like Mac McWilliams, who has been making progress this summer.
Now, I could tell you, I want to say Tanner McKee, but I already know that Tanner McKee is going to be good in this game. I mean, he's one of the 20, 25 at the worst best quarterbacks in football. He's going to be fine. I'm going to give you a low roster player who I think has an outside chance to steal a job.
Okay.
And that is Montrell Johnson, the undrafted running back from Florida, who was injured for the first preseason game and did not play. And I think if he looks good, and I think he has looked good this summer, I think he has a chance to take A.J. Dillon's job as the number 3 running back for this team, or at least make the Eagles question whether they need to put Dillon on the week 1 roster because maybe they can bring him back week 2 and not guarantee his contract. I think Montrell Johnson has shown some niftiness between the hole and a little bit more burst than I was expecting. So I want to see how he looks when it's actually live.
Yeah, he flashed a little bit when he was healthy. So I'm interested to see what he looks like. What does he look like in the pass game as well? Is he active on special teams? These are all things that I'm interested to see from the rookie running back as well.
Okay. How about you? Who's your next one?
My next one, I do want to go to the wide receiver position. And one of the highlights from last game against the Cincinnati Bengals was Johnny Wilson. I almost want to see, does he have an encore here? Because you have Darius Cooper, who I think all 3 of us feel pretty good, the undrafted rookie free agent from Tarleton State, making the 53-man roster. I feel like Johnny Wilson also was on the 53.
I think so.
So now it becomes, who's going to be active? Who's going to be wide receiver 4? Are both guys active on game day? Cooper has gotten starting looks on multiple special teams units in practice. Johnny Wilson is starting to get worked in there. Does he start in some of these special teams packages here in this game? These are some of the little things that can determine jobs. Maybe both guys make the 53, but who's going to be active? Who's going to be inactive? Those are the things that can get decided in these preseason games as well.
Yeah. Listen, Johnny Wilson and him working this week with Jalen Hurts even more, I think was indicative of the fact that he is probably going to be on this team. But yeah, I think the thought of Johnny Wilson, can he give you the upside as a receiver that you were hoping when you drafted him? Let's see how he does in this game. Over to you, EJ.
Yeah, Fran mentioned that these games can determine jobs. I know that maybe we don't need to talk about Tanner McKee, but I want to see Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I feel like he's
This is your
making,
guy.
yeah, I feel like he's making a lot of progress on this third quarterback job, the emergency quarterback on game day. And I feel like he has a chance to really sew this up over the next couple of days and really probably the next week. I feel like he's looked better than Kyle McCord. I understand the team building argument for keeping McCord over Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He's had preseason games before in the past where he's created a lot of buzz. I feel like he could have a chance to do that against his former team even.
That's true. And now I won't use my pick on this, but I am also very interested to see how Kyle McCord looks in this competition. Neither of them got a ton of playing time in that first game. I expect we'll see a little bit more.
We haven't seen
game.
a ton of them during
This
the
week.
joint
Right.
practice.
Well, that's the thing. They got a handful of reps, if any, this week during the joint practices. So they need to get the work in. And I think I still think Kyle McCord is going to win that job, but I could certainly be wrong.
Something to watch.
Something to watch. Okay, I will give you. I'm trying to think about like I want to see how Brett Toth does if he gets the full run. Is he going to actually be the left guard until Landon Dickerson comes back? But I kind of want to see how those other rookie offensive linemen do. Now, Miles Hinton, I think is I feel pretty strongly the most likely of these guys to make the team. He has worked exclusively at left tackle. He got a little bit of time this week in the joint practices when Jordan Mailata took some plays off. But Cameron Williams got a lot of time too. I still think that Hinton is the most likely of those guys to push. And then I also want to see Darian Kennard, who it feels like is being groomed to be like the top backup on game day. Where does he play? Left guard, right guard? Does he bounce around a little bit? So, I'm always looking for the offensive lineman when we actually get to see the live football action.
What's your gut tell you on Toth? My feeling is he probably doesn't play, right?
I think he does play.
Interesting.
I could be wrong.
Because I feel like often what you see is like if
the guys who
play one unless we play all of them, we want to play the guys that he's going to play with. I don't think you're going to put Jordan Mailata out there after getting the reps that he got this week during the joint practices. Same with Cam Jurgens.
I still think he's gonna have to play.
Yeah, maybe.
I also think it's part of the conversation between Stout and Howie, about who should get this job and how he's gonna want to see him. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Lane Johnson had dropped a nugget this week that is just taking a look at the swing tackle competition. So you mentioned all these names. All these guys are going to be competing for that job.
Anybody else that you guys have your eyes on just quickly?
Smile Mondon. It was a little bit of a welcome to the NFL moment for him last week against Cincinnati. What does he look like? He's had by all accounts, he's had a pretty good summer. So what does he look like in his second preseason game?
I mean, that I'm watching Brandon Johnson.
Know that?
This stud undrafted nickel out of Oregon by way of Duke. I'm interested to see him. Anybody else for you, EJ?
I mean, I'm just going to play the hits. I feel like if Jahad Campbell does get some run, I want to see how he looks. And then Keely Ringo. I mean,
listen, this is part of the story. Yeah.
I could see Keely Ringo getting a lot of run in the game, especially with his recent maybe demotion during the joint practices. So if he gets a lot of playing time, maybe he can kind of dig himself out of this hole.
Okay. Was there anybody from the Browns this week that you are interested to see? Can I tell you, I mean, for the 5th overall pick, I was a little bit uninspired by Mason Graham.
Yeah, he didn't flash much today. We watched him.
He made one nice play on Thursday, sniffing out a screen to Dallas Goedert, but I don't know.
He's no Moro Ojomo.
And Tyler Steen handled him very well.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that'll do it. We will have you covered with full coverage of the second preseason game for the Eagles on Saturday at all PHLY and on our PHLY YouTube page. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you later.